Okay, so now we have 2 stitches left on the end, and look how lovely that is. Looks like a little mermaid tail or something. Now, for the sake of my personal sanity, I'm going to edge this thing up right here. I'm going to single crochet along the outer part, and then I'm going to double crochet along this part, and single crochet or double crochet along this part, double crochet along this part. Then when I get here, single crochet, and then I'll be right back there, just so I can get these edges and not have to cut and tie again, but also I can weave that in when I'm single crocheting right there. You know what I'm saying, y'all? So probably don't want to see me do that, so I'll do that off camera, but just edge up your piece for your own sanity if you're crazy like me and need to do that. Okay, I'll see you when I edge up everything. So here we are, the final piece. It's all nice and edged up. Look how nice and neat. Beautiful. Okay. So the next part will require some sewing skills, which sounds intimidating, but it is not. So we will cut that off and tie that end off right there. So now that I have some edge right there, we're going to make the back thong part. And the reason why I'm doing sewing is because I do not want yarn up my butt. But if you do, that's fine. And you could just make a string, G-string situation. But I chose to do elastic. And you can use any color elastic you want. I did gold because this was sort of like a Valentine's Day, Lunar New Year theme. So we're going to use this, and this is going to be up my butt, so I feel more comfortable with that. So on this other one that I did, this is about 6 inches, including some that you're going to fold over and sew. So just give it a little wiggle room of 6 inches. So I'm going to measure that out. 6 inches. There we go. Now I'm going to attach this to this part with some sewing skills. Now what I did for this one is I folded it over because elastic sometimes has a tendency to fray right there. Just in my experience, I'm no master seamstress, but I'm gonna fold it and attach it like that. Okay, so it'll be like that on the back side. So now I'm going to get my same color thread as my base piece, and I'm going to, the best of my ability, sew this to that. It's going to be tricky because yarn is a lot more, it has holes in it, so just make sure you get it in bulk of the yarn, and I go back 2 or 3 times and just make sure it's really secure. This one I did a pretty good job. That one's pretty secure. You know, I went back and forth like a million times. But that's gonna be the back side, so you don't have to worry if that's ugly or not. Okay, so I will see you after I finish sewing that. Also, this is one of my semi hacks from the hood. I use a bobby pin to hold that in place just so I can sew it more easily and not have to hold it. I'm sure there's a more professional apparatus you could use for that, but if you don't have all the professional supplies, this bobby pin works just fine. and it's easy for like a sewing guide, so you can keep it kind of straight. But you know, that's my tip. Alright, so yeah, I did that off camera because I'm not the best seamstress, but I got it attached, you know. It's keeping it simple right now, but just attach it the best you can. Nobody's looking back there. Nobody's gonna be looking all up in this part, so that is fine. So the next part we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these jump rings. Do not know what size this is, but it's big enough to fit through the elastic. So make sure you get a big enough one that will fit through your elastic. Also make sure it's closed. That's where these things come in sometimes. Just want to make sure it's all the way closed, so there's not a chance it'll come out. There's probably a better way to do this, but I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but that's closed to the best of my ability. So now we're going to attach it onto this part. You're gonna put it through there, and same thing, just make a little loop, and we're gonna sew on the back side of that. Let me get my handy dandy clip again to hold it down, and then just sew right there, and I will see you in a second. Okay everybody, I did it, yay. There we go, nice and neat. It's a whole new time of the day now, it's all sunny. But okay, so we have the back part, and now for another fun part of sewing, we're going to attach 2 more jump rings to the sides right here. Now we're gonna keep everything to the back, so what I like to do is just go to the corner and fold it over like that. So the front will look like that, and the back will look like that. And then we're gonna sew right there. You could also probably use yarn to do this if you have a darning needle or something. I might actually do that because this will be too thin for all these holes. So I think I'm just gonna use yarn to attach it, and that will be easier. But just make it a corner and make sure this one is evenly done. So just play around with it and make sure they're both even on both corners, so it looks something kind of like that, and then it will end up looking like this. That's the back, but it will look like that. Okay, so I will see you after you do those. Okay, so now that we have these 2 attached perfectly, and then we have the back attached. Now for the next part, we're gonna have to do, dang it, some measuring. So we're gonna measure, you're gonna wanna measure right here, not your waist, not your hips, right there. And mine says 30. And now when we come back here, we're going to measure this when it's stretched. So that's about 7. So 30 minus 7 is 23. So 23, and then half of 23 is going to be for each side. I know that's too much math for me too. So it's going to be 11 and a half. So that is the number of the string that we're going to need for the side. Did you guys get how I came up with that? I will probably write that in the description because I confused myself. But 11.5 is the measurement for the side that I want. So now what we're gonna do is take one of these lovely little things called lobsters. They look like this, so they can attach to this right here. That way it doesn't have to be stretchy and it can be more delicate, like a little dainty piece. That's just how I like to do it, so it doesn't need to stretch. If you want to use a stretchy material, you could even use this elastic maybe to connect it from here to there. But I like to use, this is just how I made my piece, okay? But it's very variable. But this is how we're gonna do this right now. You know, so we can attach these to that and it could be nice and cute. So I got one of these things and there's a little hole, so I just attached the yarn through the little hole, and then with this side I made a slip knot like that. Then I put that through, and now we're just going to single crochet all the way until we reach 11 and a half. Did I say 11 and a half? I think I did. 11 and a half inches. And this isn't really stretchy, so it should be whether it's stretched or unstretched, but we'll see how it goes. Let me try to chain it up to 11 and a half. And ideally, you want to be counting these, but I'm talking right now, so I can't count that, but I will go back and count and let you know how many it came out to be. A different time of day yet again, but anywho, I did 45 chains, and that is 11 and a half inches. And now I'm at the end, so we want to take our main piece. I already did one row, but what I did here was I am going to slip knot into the back loop thingy. So just like this, I'm going to take that and slip knot through the back hoop, like so. Then we turn it around, and we're just going to slip stitch in the rest of the chain until we reach the beginning again. So I will slip knot in the rest of these chains, and I will meet you at the beginning. So yeah, I just cut the rest of that, and now we have this to attach here. You can attach it when you put it on, so it will be nice and tight and secure on you. But basically, yes, this is it. Isn't it really cute? And this is the back. Looks very professional, darlings. But anywho, this is my first tutorial that I ever did, so please give me some feedback and let me know if you made this thing. And I'm going to try it on right now, and I don't know if I will show you all because I don't know, but we'll see. Follow my Instagram for more. Thank you, and good night.